You are joining the Titanic Lie series. I can't stop making videos on it. Now, I'm not very good with numerology or gematria. However, I do acknowledge the existence of numerology, gematria, in terms of witchcraft. And witchcraft is what allows the hoax to be successful. In other words, it is the power of the hoax. And in numerology or gematria, numbers have power and significance. And those numbers, when invoked, bring about a result in the thinking and the minds of the hearers. So in this video, I hope to talk slightly about the use of gematria or numerology or the occult system of numbers and witchcraft and empowering hoaxes.
Received ice warnings through the day and evening over the telegraph, but continued at virtually full speed, 21 knots.
Okay, now, I believe the maximum speed of Olympic, which is really the Titanic, so I'm going to say Titanic. The maximum speed of Olympic was 22 knots. Now, according to the hoax history, Titanic goes through the ice field at 21 knots, which is why everybody wants to crucify Captain E.J. Smith, the fictional captain of Titanic, because he permitted this ship to go through an ice field at the speed of 21 knots. So we're going to pause for just a minute and we're going to explore the idea of the number 21. Now, I'm not very good with gematria or numerology, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on the use of 21. 21 is 3 sevens, and 7 alone is a mind weapon. In other words, the mind weapon is being used on you to its third power. An extremely powerful mind weapon is 21. Now, 21 also represents the simple system of the use of 1, 2, 3. 1 is the hoax, 2 is your being drawn into it, and 3 is you repeating it. So 21 has a 1, a 2, and the 3 is not there, but you have to add 1 and 2 to get 3. Now, a big thing is made about this, that Titanic speeds through the field of ice at 21 knots. And if you follow the hoax story, it's because the Titanic was trying to set a record or trying to show off that even though it was a luxury liner, it had speed. In the day of the great liners, there were 2 features that attracted people. The first feature was speed, to get to your destination quickly. The second feature was luxury. And the so-called Titanic was supposed to be sort of a combination of both. It had some pretty good speed, but yet it had a lot of luxury. And supposedly, E.J. Smith, captain, is kind of showing off or kind of trying to reach New York port ahead of schedule so that people can brag about this new luxury liner. Now that's the hoax story. What is the truth? There never was a Titanic, so you don't have to worry about it striking an iceberg that doesn't exist and going down. But the story draws people in, and one of the features of the story that draws people in is the use of gematria, numerology, or numbers empowered by demonic forces to enhance a lie. Now, I must confess, I do not understand it, but I do believe it is absolutely true that the use of numbers in hoaxes is one major reason why the hoaxes succeed in getting into the minds of people, even though logically you can tear a hoax apart and show people by logic it didn't exist. Well, let's go to the next aspect of numerology in this.
At 11:30 p.m., an iceberg was spotted dead ahead.
Okay. 11:30. Take your 11, times it by 3, and you get 33. 33 is the number of angels that abided with Lucifer and the fall from heaven. Also, it's kind of a mockery of the age at which Jesus died on the cross. And also, by the way, 33 is the 3 of you repeating the story out to someone else at 33. 3, you've got the story, it's yours, and now you repeat it. So the first 3 is you've got the story and you want to share it, and the next feature is you actually share it. Now this happens to me quite frequently. I'm out and about, minding my own business, not watching the news, not reading newspapers like a noose around your neck. And somebody comes up to me and says, "There was another shooting. This time 10 were killed, this time 20 were killed. It was in a shopping mall, it was in a church, it was in a synagogue. Who knows where it's going to be next?" And trust me, you don't even have to watch the news or read any newspapers, because all the mockingbirds around you will mock out something that the news or the noose wants around your neck. Okay. All right, let's take a look at another aspect of gematria or numerology in this hoax.
But the chief officer's evasive action caused that iceberg to rip a 300-foot gash below the waterline from the bowels along the starboard side. This went beyond the forward watertight.
So, if you can imagine a football field, U.S. football, not British football, by the way. I know Great Britain has a different definition of football. But in America, a football field is 100 yards or 300 feet. So imagine you're at a football stadium and that's the length of the gash, supposedly. So, another question is, how in the blue blazes did they know it's 300-foot gash? How did they know? What did they do? Take a tape measure with a frog man and go down under the water and measure it? Well, anyhow, you've got the 3 in the system of 1, 2, 3. And the 3 is, the story's yours now, people. 1 is the hoax, 2 is your interest in it, and 3 is it's yours. So the 300-foot gash means the story is now yours. I put a gash where? Where did I put a gash? In the side of a ship? No. Guess where the gash is? In your head. In your temple. You could see I'm on a roll.
Apartments whose design led to the Titanic being called unsinkable and made the sinking inevitable. The world's first SOS distress call was sent from the telegraph room.
Okay, now there's something there. I'll try to get another video on it, because in one of the videos here they'll mention about the real distress call at the time was supposed to be CQD. CQD. And one of the officers comes in, or the captain comes in and says, "Don't send that, send SOS." So supposedly this is the first 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, SOS. Now there's something there, and I'll try to explore that in another video. But if you look real closely, you'll see on the desk there in the center is a star. And that's a pentagram.
The lifeboats were ordered to be lowered just after midnight, but there were only 16 of them. And although this was the legal...
Okay, 16, 6 and 1 is 7, and 7 is the mind weapon. Now, if you ever notice in any news story where they're trying to convince you of a hoax, they always have numbers. Always. I dare you to find me a news story where there's no numbers issued. They have to tell you at what time it occurred. They have to tell you how many were there, and so forth. That's because the numbers have power.
Too few to save more than a third of those on board.
A third. That's 33.3. There's your 333. Or your 33rd of the angels in heaven. The 33% of the angels. 1/3, we're told in Book of Revelation, falls with Lucifer. 1/3 of them are cooperating with his lies and empowering his lies. And that's why 33 is such a big deal. And by the way, it's a big deal in Masonic world to get to 33rd degree, whereby you become a big shot in Masonic world.
The last lifeboat was in the water by 2 o'clock, leaving 1,500 people on board to perish. And the Titanic finally sank at 2:20 a.m.
Okay, why is it so important to tell you what time it sank? And tell me something, if somebody's in a lifeboat, did they look at their watch and say, oh, at 2:20 a.m. the boat went down? And they recorded it? Or if they're in a lifeboat, are they trying to record history, or are they trying to survive? So who in the heck would have even known when it went down? And why is it important? Well, it's important because it's numerology, folks. It's gematria. It's numbers empowered to make this hoax or make this lie work and put a gash in your temple, a 300-foot gash in your temple.
My father went down. He went down.
Okay, that's the end of this video about gematria and numerology on the hoax of the Titanic. Thank you for watching.